Hey Shark fans, it's Melinda Marsalis. Welcome to Heard It on the Shark. I'll be your show host, and Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area is your show sponsor. Heard It on the Shark is a weekly interview show that airs every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on the Shark 102.3 FM radio station based in Ripley, Mississippi. Then it's released as a podcast on all the major podcast platforms. You'll hear interviews with the movers and shakers in North Mississippi who are making things happen. I'll talk to entrepreneurs, leaders of business, medicine, education, and the people behind all the amazing things happening in North Mississippi. When people ask you, how did you know about that? You'll say, I heard it on the Shark. Heard It on the Shark is brought to you by the Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area. We want you to get out and discover the historic, cultural, natural, scenic, and recreational treasures of the Mississippi Hills that are right in your backyard. And of course, we want you to take the Shark 102.3 FM along for the ride. Musical credit belongs to Hill Country Blues guitar legend Gary Burnside and the late great Buddy Grisham, playing Long Way Home from their album Acoustic Brothers, which was recorded at Sun Bear Studio in Ripley, Mississippi.
This program was recorded at Sun Bear Studio in Ripley, Mississippi.
Hey Shark fans, it's Melinda with another episode of Heard It on the Shark. And today in Sun Bear Studio, I have with me the mayor of Ripley, Jon Grisham. Now, Jon is here today with me because I read an article this week in the Daily Journal that told about all these awesome updates that are about to happen at the park in Ripley. And I said, man, you got to come in and talk to me. So thanks, Jon, for walking over.
Absolutely. I'm proud to be here. Thanks for asking.
Now, Mayor Grisham, excuse me.
Whatever. Either's fine.
You know, in a small town, everybody's just their first name, aren't they?
That's right.
Okay, there's a lot that's about to happen. Have you actually broken ground on... Well, I tell you what, tell everybody what is about to happen, and then we'll talk about if you've broken ground or not.
All right. What is about to happen and what kind of is happening right now is we're in the process of building a new splash pad, hopefully to be done within the next month or so on it. We've added on to our playground. It's twice the size that it used to be. We've built a pavilion at the park, and we're about to put in new basketball courts here in town and do tennis and pickleball courts at the park as well.
All right, so let's back up. For people that don't know what park we're talking about, kind of give a description.
It's the Ripley Sportsplex, People's Bank Sportsplex, Fred and Elizabeth Smith Park here in town. It's where all our baseball and softball, soccer, flag football, all those activities happen there.
That park is in the neighborhood of 10 years old?
It will be, yeah, I think so. It'll be paid off in November of this year.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's been built and paid off, and...
I'm sorry, 26.
26.
Yeah, 11/26.
Okay, and it is just full all the time, isn't it, with baseball and all kind of sports that happen there?
Yeah, it's a real, I guess you'd say, an economy driver for the city. A lot of people don't realize, but, we have thousands of people, not just for the summer, on a weekend. We have thousands of people coming to Ripley to play ball, and, they're spending money here in the community, which, spikes our taxes, and it's a good thing for everyone.
It's not as big as First Monday, but it's second.
No, it's not as big as First Monday, but maybe one of these days.
All right, so at that park that's out on Highway 4 West, the Fred and Elizabeth Smith Park is the formal name of it.
Right.
You are about to build a splash pad. Have you started?
Yes. The weather's holding us back right now, but we're about ready to pour concrete on it, so it'll be ready by the spring.
That's very exciting. I know there's parents out there that are just thrilled from all around who can come and play there.
Oh, yeah, and it's something that, I wish we could have done sooner than what we actually have, but we got the funding for it, and, and I've got a lot of people told me from the community, they have to go out of town to other cities and so whatnot to go to a splash pad. We won't have to do that anymore.
Is it big?
It's big, and it's probably going to be bigger eventually, but it's a good size.
Okay, so you built it with room to grow.
Exactly.
Okay, and all important, the pickleball fields. Tell me about that.
Okay.
Or wait a minute, not fields, the
courts.
Pickleball courts.
It's new to me, too. The way this came about, and I'll just start here, Tony Elliott, superintendent, is a good friend of mine, and me and him have been kind of joking throughout the past few years about, when are we going to build them some tennis courts? And I'm like, school's got more money than us. Why don't you build tennis courts and everything? But, we started talking one day, and I'm like, well, why don't you just deed those tennis courts that you've got over to us? Let us put some basketball courts there, and we'll put some tennis courts out of the park, and you guys can use those. And a grant came along, fortunately, and so we are going to be able to put the tennis and pickleball courts out the park. And I don't know that much about pickleball. I know it's famous. I know that a lot of people do it around here now. But we'll have 4 pickleball courts, and what will be 2 tennis courts as well.
Okay, 2 tennis courts, 4 pickleball courts, all outdoor?
Yes,
And then the splash pad. And what's going to happen to the current tennis courts? And for those of you not from Ripley, those tennis courts are all the way across town at what we all in town call the old park. So those tennis courts are going to turn into basketball courts?
They will turn into basketball courts, yes. We'll do some resurfacing out there and repair that ground, and we'll actually have 3 basketball courts there. That's
a lot. John, that's going to change the town a lot.
This is kind of the way I looked at it when we first started this, me and the board. I kind of looked like, I grew up in the 80s, and we had all kinds of things to do here in town. And I thought, well, we had outdoor basketball courts when I was a kid. We had tennis courts when I was a kid. We had didn't have a splash pad. We had a swimming pool with a high dive and a 12-foot deep end, but that's kind of going away now. Splash pads are the deal. So kind of getting back, to what we may have lost somewhere along the way, to have something for the kids to do now.
That's right. There's so much emphasis now on quality of life in small towns that make them a great place to live, and those are some really wonderful things to have to add.
Right. Yeah, I'm tickled to death to see this all start to develop, and can't wait to see, everyone get to enjoy all the stuff once we have it all in place.
I believe I read in the article about a concession stand. Did we leave that out?
We left that out, I think. There'll be a concession stand at the splash pad, and it'll have restrooms, and it'll be open all the time, because people use the playground all the time, so that'll be there, and we'll plan on having vending machines when the concession stand's closed.
Okay, that's fantastic. Did we leave anything else out? In addition to all the outdoor things that you have, I know that park has a really strong group called the Young at Heart, and I think you have a new director, do you not?
We do. Miss Kim Benson has taken over as director of our Young at Heart, and she's done a great job. She's taken off with it, really promoting it, and the members who are out there now, I think they're all really happy. They I'm not sure how many days a week they meet, but they do a lot of activities, and they're very active in that in the Young at Heart.
Young at Heart, I happen to know that you have to be 55 to join, because I was real excited when I got old enough to join Young at Heart. But they have aerobics, and they walk laps, and they have lots of good indoor.
They do that. I know they make crafts up at the Compton Center building. And I know Kim's that used to take trips, and she's trying to get that back started as well.
Okay, so you're making Ripley a great place to live, and we appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
All right. Y'all, this has been Mayor Jon Grisham, the mayor of Ripley, updating us on things that are about to happen in Tippah County. And that's it for this edition of Heard It on the Shark. Tune in every Tuesday at 11 a.m. to find out what's happening with our local community leaders. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion for an interview, or if you want access to this interview, you can go to our website, shark1023.com, and click on the podcast tab. Keep it tuned to the Shark 1023 and have a great rest of the day.
The Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area was established by the United States Congress in 2009 and represents a distinctive cultural landscape shaped by the dynamic intersection of Appalachian and Delta cultures. This intersection has produced a powerful concentration of nationally significant cultural icons, including King of Rock and Roll Elvis Presley, First Lady of Country Music Tammy Wynette, blues legend Howlin' Wolf, civil rights icons Ida B. Wells Barnett and James Meredith, America's favorite playwright Tennessee Williams, and Nobel laureate William Faulkner. The stories of the Mississippi Hills are many and powerful, from music and literature to Native American and African American heritage to the Civil War. The Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area supports the local institutions that preserve and share Northeast Mississippi's rich heritage. Begin your discovery of the historic, cultural, natural, scenic, and recreational treasures of our region by visiting the Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area online at mississipphills.org.
This show is made possible by JC Media, LLC in Ripley, Mississippi. JC Media owns the Shark 102.3 Classic Rock FM radio station where the show is hosted, and Sun Bear Recording Studio where the interviews are recorded. We need your feedback and support. If you listen to the podcast on a player like iTunes, Google Podcast, or Amazon Music, please subscribe to the show and leave us a review. We also have an email in which you can share your feedback. That email is theshark1023@gmail.com. Subscribe to our podcast on your favorite app or stream episodes online at shark1023.com/podcasts. Today's episode was produced by Melinda Marsalis. It was edited by Rick Williams and engineered by Chris Marsalis. The podcast technician is Joyce Grady.